devil. Bitch, she a little pit me, pissed y'all read them book. Fallen devil, let me cut. Damn, I got a sauce and you put it. Damn, straight step, y'all had bad footage. Rest of the drops, y'all flopped, I couldn't. Bitch, those fans, he wasn't looking. Shit, and I've been going ham on these rookies. Flexing his power, I
That
pussy.
pussy give me power, put it on me, I've been fiending. Goku uniform, she want my blood, I hope I ain't anemic. I just got a bag, she got a bag, we walking out of Neiman's. I've been popping tags, she dropping ass, she might just be a demon. That pussy give me power, put it on me, I've been fiending. Goku uniform, she want my blood, I hope I ain't anemic. I just got a bag, she got a bag, we walking out of Neiman's. I've been popping tags, she dropping ass, she might just be a demon. Hey, she don't love me, she don't hate me though. Fibonacci curves, her body built from golden ratios. These niggas looking mad as hell at every single place we go. They take their shots, I know it, yeah, but they could never break me though. You think it's 1984, they trying to control me. They got eyes everywhere, ties everywhere, closing on me slowly. Back in the days, I was down bad, couldn't make it out, ain't nobody know me. I was on my lonely, selling off the parts of me that I could live without for Cobaloney. Now I got a rollie, how the times change. You go get the chopper, touching my chain. Chainsaws blading, giving migraines. They ain't saw the vision till the light came. Touching my bitch, that's a death sentence. I'ma shoot a movie on some Cole Bennett, then we shoot a movie if you get the premise. Used to be a peasant, now I'm independent. I said that I'm in it. Power, put it on me, I've been fiending. Goku uniform, she want my blood, I hope I ain't anemic. I just got a bag, she got a bag, we walking out of Neiman's. I've been popping tags, she dropping ass, she might just be a demon. That pussy give me power, put it on me, I've been fiending. Goku uniform, she want my blood, I hope I ain't anemic. I just got a bag, she got a bag, we walking out of Neiman's. I've been popping tags, she dropping ass, she might just be a demon.
Once felt like Pac up in juice. And it made niggas watch when I'm speaking. Then I made a couple moves. Now I feel like Cam and Killer Season. I feel like Rico and Paid in Full. Niggas get shot every day, B. LL, moving coke by the table, fall in too deep. I'm the garden, you.
Woo! Let's go. Meme in the chat. In time. You wanna send something for me to mix on this stream? I'm doing pretty good. I'm very tired. Had a weekend where I did too much and I'm still paying for it. How about yourself? Yeah, just DM it to me on Twitter.
I am Michelangelo with stone, I am Tyson in the ring, so progressive with the flow. Better hope you have insurance if I spot you at your job. But trying to box with me, you'll be boxing with God. Spit fireballs, Hadouken, get your uppercut, Shoryuken. Ask who can get it all you.
Playing Kingdom Hearts 1 all day? Hell yeah, hell yeah. I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2 on streams, but I haven't been doing as many gaming streams. I don't think they've been doing as well. But Kingdom Hearts 2 goated. And Kingdom Hearts 1 also still holds up really well. And then once I finish 2, I'm definitely gonna give 3 another shot. Oh, there we go. There's the DM.
see me drop another 10. Never will you see me show another fear. Ain't another nigga running my career, but I'm taking yours right into the dirt. Placing all you niggas right into the earth. I don't give a fuck what you niggas worth. Fully loaded and I'm giving you this work. Beloved, I've been the coldest motherfucker around my city. I love it, cause ain't another nigga really fucking with me. Get in mind, you'll be leaving with a ruptured face once I slam your body through a table like.
Alright, it's zipped, it's downloading.
Cause they up and vanished the moment they thought to make it disappear. Everybody getting chewed, but you know what I'm about. I'm that dude taking food out of your mouth. Starving for your place.
Alright.
All you gon' hear is got designer on the ad-libs, prepping all you niggas for your caskets. Got a wide variety of sizes.
I gotta get a Stream Deck. Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's check this BPM real quick. Let's see. Probably gonna want to move things over so they start on the beat. Was it right at 140? And I was just like tapping slow? Probably. Alright, cool. Alright, well yeah. I'm excited to start on this, because I think, you know, I can talk about some sort of like auto-tune stuff and like stylistic mixing. Let me check this reference real quick.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, it's we right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. This is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind, you should wait for your life, cause this world bends and my word. Think you the one, this moonveil cut a sun. Hurricane lick, cut an earthquake, make them see stars like a dawn. You don't belong, madness in your eyes, and yet you don't recall. Heard you was rocking with Bill, homie, I'm dragging his body. Little rivers of blood all around me, I'm doing that framework, okay, nothing body. I take out my...
Yeah, alright. I think I've got the vibe. It's obviously very spacey, very cloudy. Let's throw the beat in there. Let's make a Vox side verb, and so we've got like, okay, we've got like a main and like a punch, and then got backings, ad-libs. Oh, we've got multiple backings and ad-libs. All right, cool. Oh, the riser is on the is that intentional? The risers being on both. I might just I might cut that out of there. All right, so we got ad-libs, backings, Wrong button.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmare. Yeah. You said number one, if you right here.
All right, so first things first. I think for this, I mean, well, obviously we're gonna throw some tune on there, but I would love to experiment with some like stylistic mixing effects and talking about like, you know, ways to generate space that don't fully rely on like reverb and stuff. Although I think this sounds good with reverb, you know, based on that ref.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmare. Yeah. You said number one, if you right here.
Let me throw on auto tune. What key are we in? Seems like just E minor. Yeah.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmare. Yeah.
We're gonna mute the other tracks for now and just focus on that main vocal.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, if you right here.
So the first thing to decide when mixing this is like how fast do you set your auto tune? What things do you know, mess with? Do you try to humanize it a little bit, or do you kind of go for like the robotic sound?
Hey, this the shit. Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, if you right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, it need the ice clear.
I would say you could go either way on this. You could go for a completely robotic sound, like.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, if you right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, it need the ice clear.
But you're like, you know, pretty good about like staying in the you know, the pitch range for the auto tune, and I think it may just be more sonically interesting to like. It sounds like you are pretty much there already, like doing a little bit of humanize, maybe a tiny bit of flex tune. Now, if you're using a different auto tune, it may just have a humanize knob. It may not even label it as humanize. It may label it as like, you know, the strength versus the speed.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, if you right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, it need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer.
Now, something that could be interesting is going for the whatchamacallit, the fucking Lil Yachty vibrato, like.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, if you right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, it need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind. mic. You should wait for your light, cause this world bends at my word. Diggy the one, this moonville cut a sun. Her K-Lig caught an earthquake. Pick up sea stars like a dawn. You don't belong. Madness in your eyes, and yeah, you don't recall. Heard you was rockin' with Bill, homie. I'm dragging his body. Little rivers of blood all around me. I'm doing that framework, okay, not embodied. I take out millennia, easy, I cut through the lobby. Like, let me go so that bitch, you know where to find me.
Between a difference between auto-tunes, Pro and occasionally EFX. Well, so they all are gonna be able to do the same couple of things, which is like, you know, adjust the speed of the tuning and usually like do a formant shift thing. So the difference is what else can they do? So, you know, this is brand name Antares Auto-Tune, and so they like to pack a bunch of features in there to make it feel like it's worth the brand money. And one of the things that they pack in there is the like vibrato. Not every auto-tune can do that by default. They also have I'm glad you came by and said hi, Krim. It is kind of magical. Another thing that it does is like it has multiple elements of humanization, the humanize and the flex tune. And honestly, I couldn't tell you the difference between them. It's kind of just you mess with them until it sounds good. The some things will have like a single element of humanization. Again, some things will just have a difference between strength and speed. And that's really like and like one thing I will say about Antares Auto-Tune is their like formant shifting is not very strong. So like basically that's the entire difference. You just got to look at the features. You just got to see people use it and see what features do you have that you want in your Auto-Tune that, you know, whatever current Auto-Tune you're using doesn't have, and see if it's worth it to get a version that does have that. Other than that, there are technically like quality differences. Like some Auto-Tunes will like just have a harsher sound to them, but for the most part, most of the ones that you're paying for are going to be pretty much the same quality, so it really just comes down to those features. Yo, we got Yuki in the chat. Hell yeah. So let me go ahead and do a little bit of compression on these, so that we can hear them a little bit better. And I would say that
this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a bloom with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind. You should wait for your light, cause this world bends at my word. Diggy the one, this moonville cut a sun. Her K-Lig caught an earthquake.
it sounds like you might be clipping in one spot.
This the
Maybe
shit
it's-
right at your nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a bloom with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I
Yeah.
don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind. You should wait for your light, cause this world bends at my word.
I think you might be slightly clipping your mic. It's a little hard to tell. I mean, if we take the effects off.
This the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a bloom with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear.
Yeah, there's a tiny bit of clipping distortion on here. You might want to turn your like gain down on whatever mic you're using, or you might want to like, you know, you might want to like record a little bit further away from your mic. But I will say, given that you have this cloudy style, it's not gonna be that noticeable when everything's on it. Like, let me go ahead and do some EQing.
This the shit right. Ay. Ay. This the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind. You should wait for your light, cause this world bends at my word. Think you the one. This moon veil cut a sun. Her K-Lick cut an earthquake. Make 'em see stars like we're done. You don't belong.
Let's see. Yeah, so I've got a soothe on here that's taken down some of the resonances, and I'm gonna try looking for. There's some.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with.
There's a little bit of.
This the shit right. Nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. 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 Light up nightmares. You said number one mystery right here.
All right, I think that was pretty much what I was hearing. I'm gonna see if it.
Nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer.
I'm also gonna like take down some of your low end just because it's a little inconsistent when you go into the lower octave. Like it's suddenly very bassy.
Nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here.
I might also try multiband compressing. Like if we throw in a Maximus and we like.
Nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here.
Let's see.
Wrist is colder than the nightmares. You said number one nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here.
I'm gonna like up the gain so it's going harder into the compressor and then taking it down a little bit.
Nightmares. You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here.
Yeah, so this just like helps with sort of like inconsistencies in the recording a little bit. Like maybe you recorded one part a little bit closer to the mic and one part a little bit further from the mic, so one's picking up more bass, one's picking up less, or something like that. Or maybe you like one clip is literally just louder.
You said number one mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer.
I might actually take the bass, like the output volume
You said number one mystery.
back up a little bit because now I think it feels a little thin.
You said number one. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer.
There we go. I think I'm pretty happy with that tone. So like I mentioned, you've got a tiny bit of like clipping distortion on here, and it sounds like the mic may just be like it may just have some boxy tones to it. And of course, like, the more we compress it, that's going to bring that out more. But I think that can work for this style.
Ay, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, this we right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about.
We're going to throw on my patented reverb. Should I make a version of the reverb preset that uses regular FL reverb so that I can put that on Patreon? That might be a cool thing to do.
Ay, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, this we right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember talking about. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember.
There's one part where the vibratos.
Number one, this we right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind, you should wait for your life, cause this world bends at my word.
Yeah, no. So I think that would be good. Because the thing about this patcher preset that I use is it has the built-in vocal side chaining built in. And I think that helps a lot for you still want that space, you still want the reverb tail, you want the parts where you're not where the vocals aren't happening to have that extra little bit of texture from reverb and delay. But side chaining it to the vocals by definition means they're not clashing with each other. There's a lot less mud, Does R Zeta do the same kind of like side chaining thing? But yeah, so I think this is.
You said number one, this we right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear.
I think I would add like one more level of just regular compression to make the vocals a little bit more consistent. Like, yeah, this is the part that's like, the auto-tune reverb is.
Is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. This we right here. Light a blunt with friends. This we right here. Light a blunt with friends.
I mean, I guess I could just like, I could automate that. Honestly, I think just like adjusting the onset sounded all right. Obviously, this is just, I'm doing this to sort of like, show my process and sort of give tips. So the details of like, hey, am I gonna have this vibrato on there? It doesn't matter a whole lot. But if you do decide to do the vibrato, you might want to think about automating the auto-tune. Let's see. Meme example project. Automating the vibrato, or like maybe doing some manual tuning there so that the vibrato isn't taking it off the note. But that's just that's just me. That's just how I think it sounds good.
This the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, it's me right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here.
I'm gonna increase the
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, it's me right here.
increase the compression a tiny bit.
Hey, this the shit right
It was
at your
like
nightmares.
42.
You said number one, it's me right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind, you should wait for your light, cause this world bends at my word. Think it a one.
Yeah, I think just a little bit of that extra compression on the end is good. Now, the thing that I want to play with the most is like I want to see how like some kind of chorus or some kind of other stylistic effect sounds good. What might sound on this, you know, whether you want to like automate that, have it appear on some things.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, it's me right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear.
So that's like with a chorus. Another thing that could be done could be like a slapback delay.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, it's me right here. Light a blunt with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind, you should wait for your light, cause this world bends at my word. Think it a one, this moonville cut a sun. Her K-Lig cut a earthquake, make 'em see stars like a dawn. You don't belong, madness in your eyes and yeah.
I think both of those sound cool. I think that's just something to sort of like experiment with. It's definitely something. Hearing both of them on like sort of as a constant effect, I think you don't want to have it on constantly. I think it would get a little much, a little annoying. But like, I would say those both sound good. Hyperchorus is the great thing about it is you just slap it on and it like the preset thing is just a really good, really intense chorus, and you can just kind of throw that on something for like a momentary effect. But if it's like if it's something that you want on the whole song, you might have to like fiddle with it a little bit. Yeah, no. So I would say I try to like have like a takeaway for doing these viewer submission things. I'd say the big takeaway on this is do some multi-band compression to sort of fix some consistency issues, and experiment with some automated stereo effects on the vocals. Sidechain your reverb. I will let me go ahead and make a version of this with a different reverb. Because not everybody's gonna have Neoverb. Let's see if I can make it sound good. Oh, these are generators. That's why I'm like, where's the reverb? I always forget that it lets you do generators in Patcher.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, it's me right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me, you snaking like Mesmer. You got faith in your mind. You should wait for your light, cause this world bends at my word. Think you the one. This moonville cut a sun. Her K-Lake cut an earthquake. Make them see stars like we're done. You don't belong. Madness in your eyes, and yeah, you don't recall. Heard you was rocking with Bill. Homie, I'm dragging his body. Little rivers of blood all around me. I'm doing that framework. Okay, not embodied. I take out millennia easy. I cut through the lobby.
I think that's a pretty close approximation, and of course I would recommend, you know, if you use this preset, fiddle around with it, you know, fiddle around with different delay times, with different filter settings, all that. So, as a preset, I think this is pretty good. So we're gonna save this as Verb Delay Patreon preset. I'll upload that to Patreon at the end of the stream, so anybody who donates can use that in their mixes.
Hey, this the shit right at your nightmares. You said number one, mystery right here. Light a bloom with frenzy flame, we caught a fight here.
I feel like there's not too much different that I would do with the ad-libs and backings and stuff, because I think I would essentially just throw the ad-libs, like okay, so I do have one question. Are these ad-libs that appear here the same as the ones in this channel, but like lower volume? I guess that one looks different, but some of these look like they've been copied. It's hard to tell because like the timing is like so exact, but that's different for sure. That's also different. Well, actually, I guess these are like copied. These look like they're the same. I think this may be like a mistake. So yeah, so like I was saying, I don't think I would do too much different with the ad-libs. I would lean more into the stereo effects, maybe throw some distortion or saturation on them. But since you've got like overlapping, like you have two backings and two ad-lib tracks, and they overlap at points, I would say the main thing to do with those is give them different stereo effects. So, like, for instance, if you're doing something really simple, like a stereo widener, like something that delays one, like, left or right signal so that they're stereo, I would, like, delay the opposite side for one of them, you know? That way you're getting like a more even stereo field, I guess. But you could also have one of them be centered and one of them be stereo, so that way you have kind of the like effect of it's just one ad-lib, but it has extra width on top of that strong central core. You said that they're different notes. Okay, so that's kind of like a harmony. In that case, I would, in that case, you could have them both, like, not be directly, stereoized. You could have them be, like, mono, but I would say, like, they need some kind of stereo effect for sure. Ad-libs give a lot of space. So like, I guess I'll go ahead. I was going to say, like, there's not too much to talk about, but I guess I do have a lot to talk about with them. I'm going to copy the main vocal chain over to the ad-libs. I'm gonna turn off the vibrato for the ad-libs, just to make things simpler. And yeah, let's just do like hard tuning for it. Well, maybe not all the way hard tuning, but so definitely lower volume. Also, I would say maybe maybe we'll keep the Maximus, but we're gonna like throw a filter on there, like take out some of that low end. Might also cut out some of the high end, possibly. But I'm gonna like, let's see. The reverb stacks. Well, I would recommend doing the side chained reverb so that they so that the reverb maybe isn't clashing as much. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw on some kind of stereo effect. Let's do the hyper chorus. I think that works really well. It's very Travis Scott. But then the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy the reverb thing, and I'm gonna have a separate one for the ad-libs. Oh, I don't know why I'm making it only to that. I don't actually want that.
Cut a sun, her K-Lig cut a earthquake. Make them see stars like a dawn. You don't belong. Mine is in your eyes, and yeah, you don't recall. Heard you was rocking with Bill, homie. I'm dragging his body. Little rivers of blood all around me. I'm doing that framework, okay, nothing body. I take out millennia, easy, I cut through the lot.
Yeah, I think that's gonna help a lot. Having them in their own reverb thing that's cutting out when the vocals. I turned down the so the way this works is you have a peak controller and it's set to, you know, its bass level is at like 0.8 or whatever, you know, the default for the balance volume knob, and then the volume from the vocals is times negative 1.05, I guess, technically. Well, actually, I think so what I just did is I turned that technically up, but basically turning it down, like basically making it so that the signal is less strong. By default, the way I have the preset, it's going to cut out pretty much all the reverb and delay when the vocals are playing. But I turned it down a little bit so that you're going to get a little bit of reverb when the ad-libs are coming in, but it's still going to have a big swell back up. So that way you're not getting muddy, like multiple reverbs on each other during the ad-libs, but then afterwards, then you get this lush, you know, multiple, you know, the harmonies are coming together in the reverb. I am gonna keep fucking with the auto-tune because I really do think, like, it might just sound better, harsher. Maybe, oh. You might have a... Yeah, I think you have multiple things in here on accident. You might want to clean up these stems when you're doing the final mix. Yeah, I think you've got 2 vocals in there, and that's why it's sounding kind of weird. But theoretically, this should sound really clean, having the reverb, side-chained, and, just, like, literally just that default hyper chorus, I think sounds really good.
You got faith, thinking I'm kinda like me, never hold it. Push your golden order to dark.
Because it gives it that space so that it's not really competing in the center with the main vocal, I think. And for the backings, yeah, I mean, that's kind of just what ad-libs are. Yeah, for the backings, I would say probably just go with like a stereo, enhancer type deal, and cut out some low end so that it's not muddying the main vocals. And since you've got like harmonies in there, I think for the backings, definitely you want to have basically just both of them have a stereo enhancer just on, one is delaying the right and one is delaying the left. For the ad-libs, you might want to have more of the center so that they, because ad-libs are kind of like ear candy, like attention grabby kind of things, so you might want to have them be present in the center. But for the backings, they are just there to support the main vocals, so that's what I would do for that. And the only other thing that I haven't talked about is do you have Soothe? Because I would definitely recommend like putting a Soothe on the beat and side chaining it to the vocals. Okay, so if you don't have Soothe, so the way that I do Soothe is I side chain it to the vocals. And just have it be like kind of wider, wider bands, so that, it's giving the vocals lots of room. But what you can do instead, this is one thing that I used to do before I had Soothe. You can basically put a peak controller on the Vox side channel, and then you put an EQ on the beat, and then you're gonna link one of the bands to that peak controller. This is where the trick comes in. You can either set the equation here, or you can set it in the peak controller. I'll just set it in the peak controller. So we're starting at 50%. Let's see. Oh, whoops. It does not work on decimal values. It works on percentage values. So now it's essentially side chaining. It's ducking the beat when the vocals come in, but it's only ducking this band of frequencies. And that's going to, carve out a more, specific chunk. It's going to, it's not going to affect too many things where the vocals aren't. Like, you don't want to duck the kick and bass when the vocals are in. You want those to stay strong. I definitely prefer the Soothe method, because Soothe is going to be a lot more specific. It's going to only get bands where there are, frequencies in the vocals. But this worked very well for me for many years. It gets the job done. It lets you have the beat be a lot louder in the mix, and you know, fill up space without, you know, burying your vocals. So I would recommend doing that, but patcher with multi-band sidechain. Yeah, you can essentially do this just on multiple bands. The way that you have to do that is, yeah, you have to have a patcher. I may still have a patcher with a preset that does that. Oh, by the way, hello, Reed, aka Maniac. But yeah, no, that is definitely a valid method. It looks like I don't have the old preset that I had, but I noticed that they have this thing called internal EQ side. Okay, I think that's a different thing. We're gonna replace this with a generic. I guess I'm committed to remaking this this patcher preset. You know what? It's going in the Patreon too. All right. And after that, I think I'll move on to whoever else wants to get their stuff, like, you know, get some mixing tips. So if there's anybody else in the chat that wants to send me some stems on Twitter, let me know. And if there's nobody else, there is one other thing from the last stream that I actually totally missed. Somebody sent me their stems kind of early, and then it got buried by other messages. So I'll work on that if nobody else wants to send in stuff. So first things first. What we're gonna do, you know, we've got the Vox side going in at 0 volume, so we're gonna have the outputs Vox side. So, and then we're gonna want to split the bands. Oop, wrong EQ. Delete. So. Yeah, so this is from the Vox side. So actually, we don't want these to go into that. We want these to go into into 2 different peak controllers. Bro, stop automatically connecting. Oh. Yeah. Oh. God damn it. Okay. Oh yeah, and I guess I do want these to have the outputs. That's gonna be important. All right, so we're gonna. Oop, not a band pass. We want a high pass for one of them, and then a low pass for the other. Now, we're gonna actually route these through now that I think about it, because I'm gonna have to listen to make sure that it. Let's see. Let's just mute that. So we want to make sure that essentially we are getting an overlap that includes both the highs and the lows, and that they are like distinct parts of it. Now, one thing that you had, this is what I was saying before, in an older version of FL, Fruity Parametric EQ did not have linear EQ as an option. And what that meant was you would get phase differences. So like, it's hard to hear, but as I move that around, like, it's not just affecting the frequencies, it's also affecting the phase of those frequencies. So that would mean you'd get phase differences, and that would lead to volume differences, and so the output signal would not be exactly one-to-one with the input. But now we can just select linear EQ,
Never hold back. What's your golden order to dark? It's that feeling.
and there we go. It automatically sounds a lot cleaner. It's not like got that weird scoop. So let's just listen to. So that's like the high frequencies.
It's that feeling we call.
So now we've got like a more distinct highs and lows
Between our farce.
between our farts. Anyway, so now what we can do is we can add an EQ, and this time, yes, we actually do want it to be taking the input from the instrumental. So, actually, if you have, well, if did you say you have the fab filter, or you're going to get? Hey, look, I'm not the one who said it. It was me. Yeah, if you have the fab filter plugins, you may actually not need to do all of this because fab filter has dynamic EQ. So I think you may be able to do essentially what I'm doing, but with significantly fewer steps, because you might be able to just automatically sidechain bands of frequencies. Don't quote me on that because I don't have the fab filter plugins, so you may have to experiment with that. But yeah, definitely look into that. But let's just assume that you can't, so that I'll finish this preset. Okay, so we're gonna get the we're gonna get band 6 level and band I guess band 5 level. And let's just go ahead and throw those into there. And let's set these to 50%. And we're going to set these to subtracting. So now, so let's turn the vocals back on so we can actually hear how it's like making space for the vocals. But essentially, you have like this is ducking when the low stuff comes in.
You never hold back. What's your golden order to dark? It's that feeling we call. What you see isn't right. Lands between our farce. You never hold back. What's your golden
Although it may be doing the wrong things. Yep.
It's that feeling we call.
Yep. It is totally doing the wrong one.
Lands between our farce. Ay, this the shit right at your nightmares.
There we go.
You said number one, mystery right here. Light a blunt with frenzied flame, we caught a fight here. Wrist is colder than the snow, which need the ice clear. I don't remember you talking about me.
So there we go. Now that it's actually matched up, it sounds right. So yeah, you're gonna notice that like the high end one is going to be like it's going to have a wider range of movement, and part of that's intentional. Like I want more subtraction on the high end because that's where you need more space for vocals. For the record, I know you said farce. It's just the joke was too obvious. I gotta try to make jokes on stream. Otherwise, what am I here for? Education? No. Definitely not. Anyway, yeah. So I think you need more space to be made for the high end of the vocals, because that's where all of the formants live. That's where you're going to be able to hear the pronunciation of words. I think you need less ducking for the low end of the vocals, because even though that does have the pitch information, it's not really going to like be carrying that much sonic. You know, it doesn't have what is actually like the quality of the vocals, but you do want to duck it a little bit to make sure there's like less mud and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna save this as another preset. We're gonna call this multi-band vocal sidechain Patreon preset.fst.
Never hold back. What's your golden order to dark? It's that feeling we call.
Alright. Oh, we actually had double ducking going on for a second.
Lands between our farce. Ay, this the shit right at your nightmares.
Yeah, I would say that actually sounds pretty clean. Yeah, I would say that's pretty much all I gotta say about the mix on this, you know? Make sure that you're multiband compressing, try out some kind of dynamic EQ on the beat so that, you know, the beat has enough presence, but it's not muddying the vocals. Sidechain your reverb and fuck around with stereo stuff. That's pretty much it. So, I noticed that we had someone new in the chat. Blackblade Beats. You got anything you might want to submit to get sort of a live mixing lesson / critique? If so, send the stems to my Twitter. And if not, and if nobody else wants to send in, I will work on... Yeah, no problem. I hope that this is informative. I know that's something that not a lot of people do. Let me go ahead and, while I'm waiting on an answer from anybody else in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and update the Patreon Mixer preset folder. There we go. I'll just start a new project. And I'll just go ahead and get those other stems that I was sent. I've been watching for the past like 5 streams, but I really like watching you do music live, and the tips actually do help even with my solid 1 hour FL. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I think like, even when you're just starting out, like, it helps to see other people working, you know, to see, like, what is kind of like a typical workflow, you know, even if you don't fully understand, like, the tips and stuff. I think it's just good to see someone else at work. That's how I learned. I learned by watching, what's his name? Seamless. Hey, you're welcome, man. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for being a test subject. Yeah, no, so Seamless R, but the R was silent, so you just called him Seamless. He did streams of just making dubstep and like mixing the song, because he would like mix as he produced, so it was also a mixing thing. And I learned so much from that, and I definitely learned some like bad tips if you are making something other than dubstep, but it still like got me like thinking about, okay, so this is what you do if you kind of want this sound. This is like, you know, this is what it looks like to like produce and mix a beat from start to finish. So now I kind of have a frame of reference for my own work. So yeah, I hope that I can be that for other people. I'm not seeing anybody dropping anything. I mean, I guess I can really quickly check my Twitter DMs, but yeah, no. Let's go ahead and work on this then. This is Behind, and I believe this was sent in by. Let me just check on Twitter real quick. This was sent by Leo Barkey. And it features Key the Weeb, my girl, my home slice. Ooh, this does not seem to include a beat. That's unfortunate. I hope. Hell yeah. Have I ever mixed anything with just stock plugins? I mean, probably in the past I have. Because, you know, back in the day, I didn't have non-stock plugins, even though I, like, pirated FL back then. I allegedly. My version right now is legal. But even though I allegedly did that back then, I didn't use anything else. I didn't get anything else, so I was just mixing with like I have some songs from back in the day that I was using the FL stock auto-tune, and let me tell you, it's not very good. I think that, you know, I was talking about earlier, some tunes have like not quite the same audio quality. Like, even though they're theoretically doing the same thing, some of them generate more artifacts. And I think the FL, it didn't generate as many artifacts as this one free auto-tune plugin that I used to use. That was really fucked up sounding. It was kind of cool how fucked up sounding it was, honestly. But yeah, it definitely had some audio issues, and also it just had one knob. It was just a speed knob. It didn't have a strength or humanized knob. Well, it did have a second knob, but it was the formant filter, and the formant filter didn't even like sound very good. So, but songs out there exist that were mixed probably entirely front to back FL stock stuff. I don't recommend going and listening to it because that was, you know, early Wolf Boy. I'm kind of killing time because I don't have an instrumental for this, but something that could be interesting to talk about is I could try mixing like these key acapellas to sort of so something that I do a lot because I work with McGuire a lot is making a fake choir. So like, and it seems like that's what they are going for here as well. You basically record one, maybe a few people at most, but like if you record enough people, it just becomes an actual choir. But just a few vocals, and you just record it multiple times at multiple different pitches, and you just throw them together. You just try and make them sound like they're all in one space.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
And that's basically what we have here. We have just one person doing multiple pitches, multiple harmonies. And how can we make that sound like it's, instead of one person 10 times, 10 people once in one room, right? How can we do that? And I'm going to show you my process, since I'm not going to be able to do any work with an instrumental, unless Leo Barkey hops into the chat right now. He's not gonna do it. Yeah, so I'll focus on mixing like choir vocals and sort of explaining my process behind that. Because I think that's something that a lot of people... This is a sound that a lot of people go for. Because it makes your stuff sound really big and epic, you know? Like, it sounds like you hired a choir, you know?
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
So, here's the first thing that stands out to me. Throwing all these vocals together. They're not all at the same projection level. So, like, let's see if we can find out which ones are which. I'm gonna, like...
Oh, it's a new day, hoping. Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
So this one, if this was actually recorded in a choir, you wouldn't be able to hear her because she's going at a very low volume, whereas the other keys are belting. And again, if they were actually recorded in the same space together, she'd be totally drowned out. Now, I do want to have some of this like low and husky quality in the final mix, but I don't want it to sound like she's not in the same space. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn that one down.
Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused. Oh, it's a new day, hoping I.
This one is also a little bit like that. I'm going to turn it down as well, but not quite as much.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
So right away, I think that sounds a lot more realistic. Maybe that's not the right word for it, but it sounds a lot more like a choir to me. I'm going to throw an EQ on here because
Oh, it's a new day, hoping
we're getting a little bit of just like mic noise, like, you know, just random stuff. Oh no! Oh no, you're behind on the live. I think that happens to a lot of people when they join. For some reason, it defaults to going backwards. I'm not sure why. I'm glad you thought the allegedly was hilarious.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
Yeah, all right. Cutting out some of that like low-end mic noise automatically sounds a lot cleaner. Now, here's where we get into kind of like creative territory. What I'm gonna do, like, what part of what makes a choir sound really big is you have like sort of a wall of people, some, you know, going from left to right, and they're all singing. And when you're in a space with them, you are hearing them at different, essentially, directions. And so you get this stereo effect, this naturally occurring stereo effect. I mean, if you listen to a single person sing in real life, it's technically going to be stereo because, like, the way the singing is coming into your right ear and into your left ear is never going to be exactly the same, but you really get the stereo effect when it's this person is singing a different note and has a different timbre than this person on the left. Like, the person on the right and the person on the left sound completely different, and so therefore it's not just the phase is slightly different. It's like, no, this is a completely different sound, and that's what creates that stereo sound. So what I'm gonna do,
Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day.
we're gonna just sort of kind of pick at random and pan some of them left and some of them right.
Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day. Hoping.
I feel like these, and I like to pick ones that are in similar ranges and pan them opposite from each other, so that way you're getting the stereo effect, but it still sounds kind of like balanced.
It's a new day, hoping I. Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day, hoping I.
I'm also noticing that she has some lines where she did them and then did them an octave higher, and I think panning those left and right could work pretty well. They're different octaves, so it's going to be a little unbalanced. You're going to get a little bit more low end on one than the other, but
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
37. I do like to make sure that the numbers are at least like similar so that you're getting yeah, again, balance.
Oh, it's a new day.
Maybe these ones I'll just pan completely left and right. In real life, you're never going to have a choir that actually is like you only hear this person in your right ear and only hear this person in your left ear, because, you know, assuming that you're listening to them in the same room, you're going to like have a little bit of bounce from each side. But this is my goal here is, again, not necessarily to be realistic, but it's to have it sound big.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
And I think that succeeded. I might, let's see, I might switch these, because I feel like I'm getting a lot of low end in my right ear and not a lot in my left ear. Let's try this.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
That sounds a little bit better to me.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping.
I'm also going to just like take down some of the low fundamental.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh.
Not that much, but
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
something in my right ear is like just a little bit. It's a little bit much. Is it this one?
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new. Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
Oh, whoops. I didn't. Oh no, I did. Never mind.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
I think.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
I think that's what I'm hearing. It's like.
Outweigh the pain I caused. Oh, it's a new day.
That like one part of that vocal is just like it's a little loud, it's a little it's like a little distracting. It doesn't make it stands out too much, and my goal with this is to make it all sound like it's just like a mass of voices.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused. Oh, it's a new day.
All right, so I would say that's pretty much how I want a choir to sound. I think I might throw a tiny bit of compression on it.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused. Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
It's a little heavy on the right side. I'm gonna turn this one.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
There we go. That sounds a lot more balanced. Yeah.
Oh, it's a new day, hoping I outweigh the pain I caused.
Let's see. Leo bar key mixing example. Yeah, so a little bit of compression. I mean, for one thing, it just helps to glue things together. But I think in the case of trying to make something like a choir where it all kind of sounds like it comes together. I guess this is gluing by definition, but like I think the reason it works is because you're having some things affect the volume of other things because they're all together. If one of them is really loud, they all get turned down. So it kind of makes them sound like all of the signals are coming together, and like it's hard to describe, but essentially like, you know, the process of hearing something in real life where your ear is like, hey, this is loud or whatever, or, you know, hey, this is really quiet, this part is like really off to the left or whatever. All that natural processing that your ear is doing is now kind of being done by that compressor, and so it sounds like you are hearing something. I'm describing this badly, but it glues it together. And the other job of compression, of course, is just to make it louder and more present in the mix without it like having a huge fucking like peak or whatever. So yeah. Ever thought of making a Discord server? Well, I have a Discord server. It's mostly just for patrons. I have thought about opening it publicly because it doesn't get a lot of activity because I don't have a lot of patrons. I did give some people that I just like know personally some free spots in it. But even so, it's not super active in there. I would say if you would like to become a patron and get all the other perks like the mixer presets, that would be cool. But if you would like to see me open it up publicly, you know, I guess if I get enough requests for that, then I'll do that. And you know, I can still do the Patreon, like, early access stuff, like, exclusively on Patreon. Currently, I've been posting the early access stuff on the Discord, so I would have to alter that. But, yeah, that's basically that. If you want me to open up the Discord, I guess get a petition, get some signatures. But otherwise, if you just want to join right away, only $1. And you get to download all the beats, and if you that is 100% fair. You know, I understand. I know I don't have a lot of patrons because I know a lot of people can't afford to support me monetarily, and that's certainly okay. You know, there are lots of other ways to support me, and I'm just happy for anybody who's sticking around, you know? Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so this is going to be a real short stream if I don't come up with something quick. I mean, tell y'all what, let me let me bullshit for a little bit. Let me see if anybody else wants to. I'm really glad to hear that you're listening to the music. I mean, of course, that's the main thing. I mean, I love doing the streams and I love mixing people, but like the main thing for me is always going to be making my own music. How often do I do these types of streams? I'm currently doing them every other week, alternating between these and the regular reaction streams. I've only been doing that for a couple of weeks now, or I guess like 4 weeks now. It seems like it's working pretty well. I mean, the reaction streams are more popular, but I like doing these streams because I think they're more like educational. But I am gonna have to disrupt the cycle because in a couple of weeks I'm gonna be going to NPC. Well, I guess in 1 week I'll be going to NPC, but I'll miss the stream 2 weeks from now. But that's basically the plan, is just doing these once every 2 weeks. Yeah. I was gonna say, if nobody else wants to send anything in, or nobody else just has something ready, I could do some production. I could do some video game. I don't know. Well, what do y'all want to hear? I certainly don't mind booting up Splice and working on something, and I also certainly don't mind opening up like Kingdom Hearts or Tekken. You don't have any plugins? Well, so that's the thing. I will like show you how I mix and like sort of give advice. Like, I try to give the advice in like broad strokes, so like theoretically you can redo what I do with whatever plugins you have. But I make sure that all of the Patreon presets are just stock FL. So if you want to send in something, I could make you a preset with just the stock FL stuff. And of course I want to encourage people to give me a little bit of money for the presets, but if I make a preset specifically for somebody, I will just send them that preset. So I can just send you an FL preset that I make on stream. Which I guess makes me think I should probably send the the presets I made for meme to meme, but oh, I didn't talk about reverb on the choir at all. It's kind of hard to talk about without the instrumental. I was like, I know that there's some extra step that I'm forgetting. It's like, oh yeah, like hall reverb, because usually choirs are recorded in a hall. But yeah, if you want to send in something, Yuki, I could totally make you a preset. But if I to the Patreon. Well, actually, there should be a link to the Patreon in the description of this stream. And to send me something to mix, just DM it to me on Twitter. Yeah, if you wanna send me something, I won't mess around with the beat for too long. Then I'll just do enough to wait for you to send it to me. But I'll mess around a little bit with a beat. I mean, like, why not? Why the heck not? Hell yeah. Yo, we got Black Fox in the chat. What's up? I'm not actually really working on a beat. I'm kind of just killing time until Yuki sends in some stems, and I'm gonna do a little try to make a preset for her. Let's see. But I mean, let me see if I can find a cool like melody or something. I mean, we already heard that one. I picked analog just as just as a random thing, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling the analog sound. I think if I'm gonna mess with some synth stuff, it's got to be like more of a modern synth kind of character. Uh. I kind of fuck with how, like, just like, you know, I don't know how to say it. It's like kind of cheesy, kind of like, but like not in a bad way. Like, this is just the sound of EDM. What BPM was this? This was 150 originally. I kind of liked the way it sounded slowed down. Oh, wait. No. I actually like the pitch. Mess with some chord music? Nice. I'm gonna do this for science. I'm gonna reverse this because if you like reverse an EDM loop, that's how you make like Miss the Rage type beats. I don't like the way the melody goes, but I do like the tone of it. Yeah, I think like even if I don't reverse it, I think this is like a miss the Rage type loop, you know? Like, I mean, which is just, it's an EDM loop, you know? Let me not use the tri-sample. What about these? Oh, all right. Yuki sent in. I don't know what snare I want. Fuck it. We'll just throw this on here and call this a beat, and then we can expand on this on a later stream. Miss the Rage type beat 7/8/24. All right. Yeah, let's make. What if I mix these nuts? Where are they? Bring them here. A bit of an older song, a bit on the rougher side. That's totally okay. I mean, like, would you say that like overall your mic quality is still pretty similar? Because that's the main thing. If I'm gonna make a preset for your you know, for your vocals, I don't want to like sort of base it on whatever mic you had back then, and then you've got like a whole different mic. Bring them here, McGuire. I think he's telling us. I'm not saying anything. Oh, we got the ref mixed in. All right. So you've got a layer for the hook, and you've got a layer for, I guess, the verses, and then this is like your main. So let's focus on the main.
I do it all for you. 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 I do it all for you.
Okay, so I do notice that these have some this has some like stereo effect mixed in. So whatever kind of preset that I make for this, it's going to like have some, you know, I kind of have to mix around the chorus and the auto-tune not so much, because auto-tune doesn't really affect the timbre that much. But like I would say if I could get like the dry of this, that would be ideal.
I do it all for you. I do it all for you. I do it all for you. I go hard for you. Play my part for you.
Oh, actually, this might have like. Does this have multiple layers in it?
I go hard for you. Play my part for you. I give more all to you. Like what?
I guess it's just that one overlap. Okay, it's not layers exactly. Well, anyway.
I go hard for you. Play my part for you. I give more all to you. Like what's more I can offer you? I try to help you out. I guess I wasn't audible. Only care about yourself. To me, that's just the hardest truth.
All right, so aside from the
I go hard for you. Play my part for you. I give more all to you. Like what's more I can offer you?
aside from the chorus effect on that part, the main thing that this is needing is EQ and compression, and let's see. It's probably gonna need a little bit of like, you know, EQ cleanup, but mostly, I guess, I do have like one question, and that's like, how do you want like your preset to have like, you know, stylistic mixing choices built in, or do you want to have the option to add those on top?
I do it all for you. I go hard for you. Play my part for you. I give more all to you. Like what's more I can offer you? I try to help you out. I guess I wasn't audible. Only care about yourself. To me, that's just the hardest truth. You think I'm so obsessed because I do this all for you. I've always been this way. You just ain't pick up all the clues. These tears keep running down my face. You never saw my view. If you were part of me, then I must be a part of you. I did it all for you, and they said it's impossible.
Oh, wrong
Held
one.
it down for you when everything was falling through. They hate on me, but my milestone's phenomenal. Landing hits recording, punching in, I'm scoring. I'ma do it all for you until you can't ignore it. Landing hits recording, punching in, I'm scoring. I'ma do it.
It sounds like also it may be slightly compressed to start off.
I go hard for you. Play my part for you. I give more all to you. Like what's more I can offer you? I try to help you out. I guess I wasn't audible. Only care about yourself.
Yeah, if I could, like you've got effects on these vocals essentially, like, you know, like it sounds like you've got some kind of stereo effect here, and then, it sounds like, yeah, you've got some kind of like compression or something in there, and I know that you've got, like, you've got one vocal overlapping with another vocal. That's not so bad, because like it might actually make sense to compress them together. But basically, if you can like send me just a version of the vocal that doesn't have any of those effects on it, and maybe splits the you know, two overlapping ones into two audio files, that would be the ideal.
I go hard for you. Play my part for you. I give more to you. Like what's more I can offer you? I try to help you out.
There is one thing that I can definitely fix in this, and that's
I give my all to you, like what's Moroccan?
there's definitely like I don't know if that's like sort of like bumping the mic or something. This kind of like crumply sound. Increasing this filter frequency definitely helps with that a lot. You recorded with effects so you don't have the dries? Oh, that... Yeah, no, I would definitely recommend recording dry. You can record with effects audible to you, like so that you can make sure that you're hearing it, you know, like closer to how it's going to sound in the final. But you want to make sure that those aren't getting baked into the recording. Because that's going to, like, yeah, it's going to sort of make it so that you have to, again, mix around that.
I go hard for you, play my part for you. I give my all to you, like what's Moroccan for you. I try to help you out, I guess I wasn't audible. Only care about yourself, to me that's just the hardest truth. You think I'm so obsessed because
Yeah, because it's already mixed, like, I can tell that there's... It also sounds like, in addition to a tiny bit of compression, there's a little bit of, like, de-essing going on.
I go hard for you, play my part for you. I give my all to you, like... I go hard for you, play my part for you. I give my all to you, like what's Moroccan for you.
So, yeah, I would say as far as, like, mixing the vocals, really the only things I kind of want to add are, like, the little bit of high boost and the compressor. But, hearing it with the beat, one thing that I could talk about is like, reverb and delay again, like... So... One thing that's different about this is there's not a lot of space like between the vocals, especially because the vocals are overlapping. So doing the side chain reverb thing, I mean, you can still do that to a like in a certain way where it's like only ducking for like the loudest signals, but it's not going to be exactly the same. So for this, you're going to want like a constant reverb, and to do that, we can just bake that into the vocal, although we might want to have it be in a separate track, because if you're going to do like side chaining the beat to the vocal, or the beat to the vocal, you're gonna want, like, you're not gonna want the reverb necessarily in that signal, but just for the sake of this, I think, you know, the reverb presets, the reverb channel is going to be really simple. So I'm gonna put it in this channel. So sticking to the stock plugins. So
I go hard for you, play my part for you. I give my all to you, like what's Moroccan for you. I try to help you.
I like to introduce a little bit of stereo in the reverb. And one thing that you can do to still add a little bit of separation between the reverb and the vocal is adding a little bit of that pre-delay.
I go hard for you, play my part for you. I give my all to you, like what's Moroccan for you. I try to help you.
Honestly, this is already sounding pretty good, but let's experiment with some like dampness. So, like, dampness and high cut are both going to introduce more of, like, the high-end content. And we might actually want to, like, do a little bit of a low cut to, like, get rid of stuff that's going to be, like, more muddy in the mix.
I go hard for you, play my my part for you. I give my all to you, like what's more I can offer you. I try to help you out, I guess I wasn't audible. Only care about yourself, to me that's just the hardest truth. You think I'm so obsessed cause I do this all for you. I've always been this way, you just ain't pick up all the clues. These tears keep running down my face, you never saw my view. If you were part of me, then I must be a part of you. I did it all for you and they said it's impossible. Held it down for you when everything was falling through. They hate on me, but my milestone's phenomenal.
And I would also throw in a delay. I would say, like, the reverb, like, this is pretty loud, you know, probably in, like, in a final mix, like, well, actually, it does end up getting kind of, like, drowned out by the beat, so we might want to have it kind of loud. So yeah, I guess we probably do want kind of high reverb since it's getting a little drowned out by the beat. But the other thing is a delay. Delay you can have pretty like loud, and it doesn't like it gives the like same kind of spacey impression. As reverb, but it's like it's not going to be there it's not going to like wash out the same way that reverb does. Yeah, in a future stream, absolutely send something more recent. I think that would be a useful thing to work with, cause you know I'm sitting here giving you some tips that you already know, like about like recording with the effects on and stuff. So I'm just gonna like do the stereo offset. Held it down for you and everything was falling through. They hate on me, but my milestone's phenomenal. Landing hits recorded, punching it, I'm scoring. I go out for you, play my part for you. I give my all to you, like what's more I can offer you. I try to help you out, I guess I wasn't audible. Only care about yourself, to me that's just the hardest truth. You think I'm so obsessed cause I do this all for you. I've always been this way, you just ain't pick up all the clues. These tears keep running down my face. Yeah, this is pretty much how I would mix this. Again, as it stands with the baked-in effects, like an actual like preset that I made for you would probably it would include an auto-tune unless you can record with baked-in auto-tune. It's not going to be as big of a deal as recording with baked-in like compression. But personally, I like to have it not baked in. It would probably include that. It would probably include a second compressor, and de-essing. Let me show you how to do de-essing with stock FL. It's actually pretty simple. It's just Maximus, and like essentially you can just like turn the compression off for everything but the high band. Now, like, we don't want to actually do any de-essing because, again, it sounds like you've already got some baked in, but essentially, you just make a curve like that so that it's a compression curve. It's just everything up to this volume is linear, and then everything past this volume is getting, like, taken down by whatever this ratio is. And then you might want to like adjust the curve to, okay, this is where the S's are like peaking, so I'm gonna make it there. But you can also just like have it be as like a generic, like curve, and then you just adjust the pre and post gain. So I'll leave this in here like this, but again, for this particular thing, it doesn't actually need any de-essing. Yeah, so for a preset that I made for you, I would be EQ, compression, auto-tune, de-essing, probably another compression, and then the delay and reverb, which again, I think if you want to get a cleaner like compression on the beat, I would sort of take these and put them in a separate channel. In case you don't know, if you click and hold on Save Preset As, you can then drag it into another mixer slot, into another mixer channel. So you can like load up this preset, and then you can just put the reverb and delay on a separate mixer thing, and then delete them here. If that's helpful. If you download the other mixer preset that I made, the multi-band beat EQ thing, you can use that in place of Soothe to again get that like making space in the beat for the vocals. Yeah. That's pretty much all the tips that I've got. I guess I'll just load in the Oh, I don't have I only have the trial version of Pitcher. Okay. We're going to pretend that I'm giving you auto-tune, but I'm actually not. The only other thing is just another compressor. You know, it might be like less knee, so it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more of like a kind of a limiter compressor. I'm not gonna. These settings are just like probably kind of not really what they're supposed to be, because again, I'm like kind of basing this off of what it would sound like if it didn't have the compression in there. So basically, fiddle with these, you know, until it sounds right, with your like currently mixed vocals. Yeah, I'm gonna call that a Baby Yuki preset. Oh, one other thing I want to do is a little bit of cleanup EQ. It's just like some like resonant high-end stuff. I think that sounds a little cleaner, like held it down for you and everything was falling through. They hit on me, but my milestone's phenomenal. Yeah, I think that sounds it sounds cleaner, getting rid of that frequency there. Yeah, that was the last thing that I felt like it needed. Other than that, yeah, this is pretty much it. Okay. Baby Yuki Patreon preset. Yeah. I'm glad the click and drag tip was helpful as well. Yeah. That's pretty much I mean, that's kind of my vocal chain already. Just EQ, compression, auto-tune, de-essing. Usually I have like a separate EQ for cleanup, but I usually use Nectar, and I know that that's not a stock plugin, so I'm not going to include that. Another compressor, and then delay and reverb, again, usually on a separate channel, but we're just going to throw it in there. That's basically my default chain. So theoretically, you know, this'll get you to sound more like how I mix stuff. But of course, it's always going to sound different when it's on someone else's voice, someone else's mic, all that. Need to get back on FL. Yeah, I mean, hey, I highly recommend getting back on it. Figure out, you know, like, figure out how all the nerdcore people are doing what they're doing. I think everybody should learn how music is made and make some of their own. I think it's important. I'm trying to think of what else to do to fill the last like 5 minutes, cause you know, I'm not gonna like start a new thing in the last 5 minutes, but I don't know what to do. Guess I could yeah, something like that, and then it just needs an 808. I'm just gonna throw an 808 on here, and I'm gonna end the stream. Fuck it. Is this even in the right? It is not in the right key. Maybe this is where that should begin. I gotta put this in a whole other thing. Come on. I'm trying to speed run, but I am terrible at it. No. If I put this up an octave, it's gonna sound terrible. Actually, it may be in key, and it just like the 808 is just not a very good tone for this. Whatever. We're gonna call this a beat. It's been 2 hours. Oh, right as I start like winding down, that's always when more people show up. Welcome to the very end of the stream where I'm just like killing time by making a beat. Tell you what, as a reward for for everybody coming in at the end and watching me fuck around. Y'all get the bass boosted version. Hell yeah. Bought a learning bundle that's the game engine. I know that like the name that it's named after is Godot, but are you supposed to pronounce the game engine Godot? Anyway, that's super cool. I theoretically I am a game dev, theoretically only, because I have never actually like finished anything, but I want to learn Godot. I'm just gonna assume that that's how it's pronounced. I want to learn it because I think it seems like it has some advantages over Unity and Unreal. Would love to get into that, but it's just like music takes up so much time. But hell yeah, let me know what you make, if you make anything in Godot. All right, it has officially been 2 hours. I would just like to say to everybody who showed up, thank you for being here and hopefully learning something and submitting. And to everybody watching in the future, I also hope this has been educational and I hope it's been entertaining. I very close to monetization, just like 2 more weeks max, I believe, of streams. But maybe we can get there even faster if people share around the streams and watch the VODs after. Either way, I believe this is the month, but maybe this can even be the week. Who knows? Other than that, I'd just like to encourage everybody to like and subscribe and trans rights, gay rights, free Palestine, ACAB, and make sure that when you are mixing vocals, you scoop like the high mids, because most microphones have a little bit of a peak there, and eat your veggies. And that's pretty much it. All right, yeah, peace out, everybody. Adios.